This interview with Ralph left me bothered. And whenever that happens, I see it as a gift. Like, what is going on? What is rumbling inside that needs to be faced, be felt, be integrated? Where do I need to take ownership? Where do I need to grow up? Whatever. And so what I love that I learned about Ralph is he has a very specific niche of helping men and helping dads. And I'm going to call it, I don't know what the maybe from like nice guy to confident man, maybe. Feminine might be like from damsel in distress to confident queen, something like that. And as we were talking, you'll hear in the interview, there'll be some times where I found myself getting a little defensive for the woman's point of view. But I'm like, Allana, he doesn't coach women, he coaches men's groups. And then I went underneath that. I'm like, why am I getting defensive? I'm like, well, I guess what my passion really is intimacy and being able to support the conversations where people learn how to repair a rupture. I mean, how many of us have no fear of getting hurt again because we totally know that we can repair a rupture? Like crickets, tumbleweeds, like it's not a skill I learned. I'm still learning it. But this interview really showed me where my passion is, which is really helping people in those moments where the blame, the stonewalling, you can't get through, how to get through, how to repair that rupture. And with a third party is often very, very supportive because you're just in it. You've probably been in it for years, if not decades, right? And I guess part of what also maybe triggered within Ralph's share in this podcast is the sadness of how many relationships could have been saved, grown, evolved if we could learn these skills. And then, of course, this is my own personal journey as well. 2 divorces. What could I have done differently? And several relationships. Where can I grow in my ability to stay present, heart open, take ownership, not blame, not abort mission, and really be that safe space to invite the nobility of a man to step up. I think that's very important. Simultaneously, I think it's very important that men soften and be more vulnerable, that vulnerability is not a weakness, and that women often feel very alone when we're talking to this non-intimate, non-vulnerable, non-transparent man who's been trained this way by the patriarchy. So nobody's at fault here. Like, the people are good people. The patterns and the container of patriarchy is not working. So I really love that Ralph is helping men who have been really treated poorly to step back up again. And it's not over there. What's next is this deeper intimacy with self and with other. And so I'm glad that there's one of everybody on the planet. Ralph does what he does really super well. I do what I do really super well. And there's others out here that have each of these pieces on this beautiful like pearl necklace, this beautiful journey of intimacy and relationships to become our best self and have the deep, deep, deep intimacy that I believe we all crave and deserve. Enjoy this podcast with Ralph. Beautiful sister, take a breath with me. Oh, when was the last time you felt really grounded in your body, still in your mind, truly in love with yourself? Not fixing yourself, not striving to be different, just loving your sweet self exactly as you are. I know you've probably been strong for everybody else, yet this is your moment now, an invitation to be there for you. To say yes to not just the bare minimum, but your real needs, to listen to the truth of your body, to slow down and hear the deepest truth of your heart, to face what you've been perhaps avoiding so that you can embody your authentic feminine power. And you don't have to do this alone. Like so many others before you, we can partner in divine sisterhood. The divine feminine way is to collaborate, to open our hearts together into the glorious, great unknown, the mystery. So I invite you to go to allanapratt.com/connect and book a call with me today. We will get through any shadow to the light of your fullest glory together. Promise. Welcome to Intimate Conversations, Season 14, Dark Night to Divine Light, because we both know intimacy is an inside job. Hello, and welcome back, delicious creatures, to another episode of Intimate Conversations. Here we are, Season 14, From Dark Night to Divine Light. And I have a new friend, Ralph Brewer, on the show today. He is the founder of Help for Men and creator of Dad Starting Over, two influential programs supporting men through divorce, dead bedrooms, and modern relationship breakdowns. He is the author of 5 books, including his most recognized title, The Dead Bedroom Fix, which has earned hundreds of 5-star reviews on Amazon and become a go-to resource for men ready to claim their confidence and their clarity. And Ralph combines honest storytelling, I can't wait to hear some stories, with practical guidance, can't wait to hear that as well, offering mentorship, not therapy, to help men rebuild their lives, their relationships, and their self-worth. And through coaching programs and digital courses and his private brotherhood community, I love that, he provides tools men can actually use. So whether you're divorced, stuck in a strained marriage, or just feeling invisible, that is so common, Ralph's message meets men where they are and calls them to lead themselves forward. So, what a pleasure to meet you, Ralph. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I just have to ask, I'm sorry, I haven't read your awesome book yet, The Dead Bedroom Fix, but are you here to teach what you're here to learn? Like for me as an intimacy expert, I'm like, okay, 2 divorces. The only one in common is me. Maybe I should have a look at my skills with intimacy. So how about you? Did it come through your own journey? Tell us.
Yeah. And I have to say, the book is for men only. Sorry, ladies.
I'm not allowed to read it?
You're not, well, you could, I'm sure. In fact, most women do. And they say it at the very beginning of the book, it says, sorry, ladies, this isn't for you. But I know you're going to keep reading it anyway. So here you go. But no, yeah, it's definitely born out of life experience. Sure. I had a not so good, cruddy first marriage that ended in not only a lackluster bedroom, but it ended in infidelity on the part of my partner and divorce and me being a primary parent to 3 little kids. It wasn't fun. So I took from that experience and then I went into dating and then eventually found who would be my wife number 2, Natalie, and just comparing that experience. And then I got to talking to a lot of men online through my community and so forth. And you start seeing a lot of patterns. And that's where I created that book, The Dead Bedroom Fix. And my first ever book I ever wrote. And for whatever reason, that just took off. And self-published and over the 3 different editions. The latest edition just came out last year.
Nice.
And between the 3 editions and everything, a few 100,000 guys have read it. So it's been, knock on wood, it's been good.
Amazing. So for me with intimacy, I always talk about blind spots. So it's so easy to, blame the other and it's all their fault. And I'm I remember, this reminded me, I've had many coaches. Since being a coach, I always think it's out of integrity to coach if we're not being coached as well, because none of us can see our blind spots. And my ex-husband did something, what did I call him? A lying, conniving fuckhead, I think was my words to my coach. and he didn't skip a beat and he goes, and where are you, Allana? A lying, conniving fuckhead. And I said, oh no, I am holier than thou. I am perfect. He's like, even according to his point of view. And I really had to look. Lying, well, I said I would marry him and I divorced him. I broke my word. Conniving, well, from his point of view, I said I was all in and then I wasn't. Fuckhead, well, I'm sure there's many reasons why I was
many interpretations
making him feel humiliated, making him feel emasculated, all the different things. So when I really looked and I took ownership, it didn't condone what he did, but the trigger somehow dissolved, right? So, so how did you marry someone who didn't want to have sex with you and cheat on you? What's your ownership story about that?
I'd say it's going to sound like more victimhood, but it comes around to not so good stuff about myself and others, which is what I have learned over the years of doing this is I tend to attract a certain type of guy to my material, my stuff, because it's basically me. and what I was through most of my life. And that is guys who are, to use the psych vernacular, very anxiously attached, very preoccupied in their relationships. So we're the
Got
type
it.
that constantly pursue. We're the type that, and I'm speaking from experience, if I notice my wife has a not so good look on her face, I'm very invested. Like, I must fix this now. Like, what is wrong with you? What's going on with you? Because in essence, I feel very insecure in relationships. I want constant reassurance that we're okay. We're not going to dissolve. And that really amplified after being cheated on a divorce, sure. But what goes with that, ironically, is that us men, and by the way, most anxiously attached people are women, but for us men in this boat and the women as well, who do we tend to attract to us? Is the polar opposite, the people that we call the very avoid types.
Right, right,
They don't like to let us in. They don't like to
right,
talk about the relationship. They don't like to invest in the relationship. They just want to be left the hell alone.
right,
That's who I tend to be attracted to, and vice versa. And so for years, it's beating your head against the wall of, trying to connect in that way, in a romantic way and everything. And the person's just like, you're too much. You're too
right.
needy. You need to back off. And by the way, they have a point. I was too needy, too much.
Mm.
And that's what we hear from a lot of guys. Is we have a lot of guys that have the typical nice guy syndrome, which is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
slang term for very codependent behavior.
right.
And with that comes some not so nice stuff. We're pretty manipulative. We're the
Mm,
kind that do little tests to our spouse all the time. I'm going to
mm.
sit back and see what they do. And when they do what we know they're going to do, we get upset and we pout and we stomp our feet around. The spouse is always like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you acting this way?" Nothing's wrong with me. That's very typical in my world.
Mm,
And we eventually
mm.
realize, even if we're very with a very secure person, which knock on wood we eventually find, it's still unattractive and it's still not very nice.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
leads you down a path which, I was going to say invariably, but more often than not, sexlessness, or at least intimacy, goes way down because it's at baseline a very unattractive way of being.
Yeah,
And it's a very emotionally unhealthy, mentally unhealthy way of being. And
yeah.
so basically the entirety of my work, including the Dead Bedroom Fix book, I could have titled that book, How to Become a More Secure Individual, so that you may in turn increase the chances of intimacy within your relationship. But that's kind of,
It's not
but
as sexy, but
no, but
it's,
Dead
but I get
Bedroom
it.
Fix gets the point across. And it's
Yeah,
very step 1, 2, 3 for men. And men love just boom, boom,
yeah.
boom, no BS, no nonsense, no fluff. And that's what I did. That's what I created, that little manual. That's how I operate.
Right. So
Mhm.
good. I so love your self ownership, your awareness, and that you're on the personal growth journey and you're walking your talk
Mhm.
and you're living it. This is so,
And,
mm,
and a big part of, at the very beginning, all of us that get cheated on everything, we just wish the worst on our ex-spouses. I
revenge.
I hope she gets cancer from her toes to her gums. I remember saying to somebody at one point, I even had to laugh at myself for that one. It's like, that's, wow, that's cold. But
That's pretty, that's
we
pretty
go
cool.
we go from there to, all right, I can kind of see why she did what she did. And it doesn't,
Mm,
nothing excuses the end result of cheating and everything, but I can see how we eventually got to the point of real dysfunction in the relationship, and you start taking ownership of it.
yeah.
And then you kind of feel sorry for them a little bit. But you know what? They got their own issues, as I do. And their
Mm,
childhood, not so great. That's what we hear again
mm,
and again, guys that we talk
mm.
to. And
Compassion.
yeah, and this is invariably where this was going to lead. And you know what? We knew this from day one. And
Ooh, stop there for a second.
yeah,
Because to actually get out of the spinning head and the hypervigilance and, codependence and do you love me and am I enough? Blah, to feel, I knew this was going to be where it
mm,
ended up. That's your intuition. That's your heart's truth. That's your
hmm,
knowing.
your
That's not an
gut, as we call it.
analysis.
Yeah,
What's that?
your gut instinct, as we often call
Yeah,
it. Listen
yeah,
to your
yeah,
gut.
yeah.
Hmm.
But you can't listen to your gut when you're hypervigilantly moving a million miles an hour. Tell me how you developed your ability. I'm going to call it sit in the fire and be
Hmm.
with your gut's truth. How'd you learn how to do that?
That's not easy. And it's still something that you learn on a day-to-day basis, is that when what I find, and maybe this is more so with men than it is with women, I'm feeling something very uncomfortable. Anxiety's hitting me. This
Mm,
doesn't feel right, etc. But boy, she really makes me feel good otherwise. Boy, I'm madly in love with her. I will overlook all of that garbage
mm,
if it means I can keep her in my life. If it means,
mm,
because I don't like myself very much. This is a lot of guys
mm.
talking internally. I don't like myself very much. I don't think much of myself. I'm at baseline a very insecure guy. Here's somebody who likes me. They didn't run away. Sure, and but this happened to me, by the way, in a dating. Sure, I just noticed there are 7 wine bottles in her kitchen trash. Maybe that's indicative of something else that I need to. Nah, just overlook that and just keep going.
Right,
Everything's fine.
right.
And eventually, it turns out there was a problem. So
Dead bodies in the downstairs freezer. Like, let's just
who
overlook.
doesn't have, who knows what happened there? But We invariably, when hindsight's 2020, when the
Sure.
smoke clears and we're years down the line, we're like, you know, I never did see her mom and dad ever hug each other, let alone kiss each other, let alone ever
Right.
show any kind of affection towards each other.
Right.
Same goes for her siblings and their spouses. Her
Mm,
extended family, very cold people. Why did
mm.
I get surprised when she was such a cold individual after we got married and had kids? This is what she saw growing up, day in and day out. That's one
Right.
example of such behavior. For a
Yeah.
lot of men, it's boy, my wife sure did like a lot of outside validation and attention seeking from others. Maybe not the best characteristic for somebody in a long-term monogamous relationship if they're always
Yeah.
seeking out intimacy and that high from others, that
Yeah.
flirting over the top and so forth. Those kind of things just make you go, yeah, I kind of saw this coming. But a lot of us didn't have the tools in our toolbox, so to speak, to address it at that time.
Yeah.
In our defense, we were ignorant. And
Yeah.
so now you realize it's okay to feel those yucky feelings. It's
Yeah.
okay to sit in them. It's okay to say, time out.
Mm,
I'm
mm.
feeling nuts. What's going on here with me?
Right.
Sometimes it's not them at all. It's just all you.
Well, they're the trigger, but yeah.
Something about what they're saying and doing makes you go, oh, why do I feel yucky right now? This interesting thing. People are so averse to feeling yucky, as I call it, that
Yeah.
they will do anything to mask it,
Yes.
anything to get around it, anything to treat it in the moment and make it stop. And I'm like, sometimes it's okay
Yes.
just to sit in it. I had a moment where years ago I created a little video about when I discovered my ex's infidelity. I was on the beach in Florida at the time. We were on vacation, day
Okay.
one of vacation. Wonderful, right?
Ouch.
Yeah, saw messages on the computer kind of thing. So years later, after that all cleared, and I was with a girlfriend on the beach, as soon as I hit the beach again,
Yeah.
instantly I felt not so good.
The
And
memory,
the
the
olfactory
unprocessed
senses, yeah, it
trauma
came
of
back.
that
Everything came
moment.
back, and I just
Yep.
felt anxious again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
much so that my girlfriend, who would later become wife, looked at my face and it's like, "Are you okay?" So I was really showing it in the moment of just like, and I was just like,
Nope.
"Yeah, yeah, it's just not feeling so good right now." She's like, "Oh, it must be weird getting back." Yeah, it is, but so I shared that story of like, it's okay to have these feelings, guys. Things are gonna trip you up, and you're gonna be like, oh wow, I'm still feeling yucky and anxious over these little things. I can't
Yeah.
tell you how many thousands of people messaged me, commented. Here's how you get past that. What you need to do is start taking THC gummies. What you need to do is start doing this. And here's somebody you need to read this book, read this, go to this YouTube channel. I'm like, guys, it's okay to feel yucky over certain things. It was a trauma that I endured.
Totally.
I'm a human being, and there's going to be little triggers here and there, and that's okay. That is
Yeah.
something that people have a really hard time with. I would say probably men more so than women.
Yes. But I have more feet. Well, actually, it's not true. I probably have equal female and male clients, but women in their masculine
Mm,
energy definitely don't want to go anywhere near their heart and feel. So
push that
women
down.
women also have a lot of difficulty feeling. I'm so glad we align on this. I even think my purpose on the planet, Ralph, is to help people feel every feeling there is.
Hmm.
Because if you don't let yourself feel the yucky feelings, you also don't let yourself fully feel the bliss, the joy, the
Bingo. Bingo. Yeah, the way I explained it, the imagery I use, it's one master volume knob. It's
yes.
not, let me just turn down sadness, let me just turn down anger, let me just turn down nervousness
Nope.
about this. No, one knob, you turn it all down, and the next thing you know, the super great moments happen in your life, and you're just like,
Meh.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's it. And that's your typical guy sitting on his recliner and everything's happening around him, and he's just like, meh. Now, in our defense, we are awarded and we are a lot of people in our lives. And like when grandpa so and so passes away and
Mm.
everyone's sitting around telling stories, it's story after story of, man, he was in so much pain and he never let on. He was a real man's man. Yeah, I remember when his father died and he just trucked on and kept being Mr. Provider and everything. And it's you get this messaging constantly as a guy of suppressing emotion, propping up your provider, I guess, your provider-esque kind of actions. And everyone's just like, what a great human being is for doing that. And you hear that again and
No.
again, and it's not so good.
No. I watched my mom die at 61 of liver cancer, pancreatic and then liver.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
all of that suppressed anger she taught me very young. You
Mm,
you, you got to feel these things and integrate them or they'll eat you alive.
Hmm.
In
And I lost a parent at a young age as well. My father was 53 when he passed away
mm,
of heart disease. And he was a guy who lived a very unhealthy life of smoking constantly,
mm.
drinking coffee constantly. He was obviously masking something. He was dealing with something, and he had a traumatic childhood. Oof. And he was told by physicians, you got to cut that out for years and years. And he just didn't. And that's a guy who never really wanted to deal with anything.
Yeah. When it's those behaviors, I always I do psychedelic somatic integration work with my
Oh,
clients.
wow.
And it's a very low dose of medicine to get out
Mhm.
of the head and just get in the body and feel the yuckies. But also by the end of an autonomic nervous system wave to feel the bliss, to feel the
Mm.
bliss.
Mhm.
And a lot of my clients who have heart issues, like physical heart issues, but when they get the scan, their heart's totally fine.
Mm.
But in daily life, when there's a bit of stress, it'll, skip a beat or they need an ablation, all these kind of, they're heartbroken. It's not like rocket science, people. It's like
Mhm.
they have not
It's
been
amazing
allowed,
up
they've
here how
not been,
much, yeah.
yeah, but they've also been raised in families where it's not been allowed to feel a feeling,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? So they
There's
stuff it for decades.
we have a lot of men in my world who exhibit physical symptoms, ailments that we more often see in women, such as autoimmune issues.
Mm,
If you got a person who has a lot of past trauma, the chances of them having autoimmune symptoms and issues go
hi.
way up, very high. And we have
Yep.
guys that have all kinds of autoimmune issues and other things that once they get out of toxic relationships, once they go into therapy and everything, all of a sudden my skin condition is just so much better now. And all these pains and aches and everything else and inflammation is just, I've lost 20, 30 pounds and all those other things. And it's amazing the power of the mind.
Yeah, yeah. Or the power of the mind, but also the power of unintegrated trauma
Mm-hmm.
stored in the body, making people numb out and be
Mm-hmm.
hypervigilant and not be present to themselves or others. Yeah. There was even a time when one of my clients called me the penis whisperer. No, I think he called it the cock whisperer because I can talk to these different body parts. Like, I'm like, yeah, 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 you're mine. That's lovely. Throat, I can tell that there's a ball that you're about to cry right now. Throat, what's going on? I don't want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to your throat. And it's like, I'm not allowed to cry. I go, let's just be with that. Let's just be with that. Let's allow that. Trust body. Or their posture's very, clenched, like they're protecting their heart. I go, hey, heart, how you doing in there? Oh, I'm feeling pretty emasculated. And then, erectile dysfunction or this kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. I'll just do the same thing. I'm just like, no judgment. I'm just like, so penis, how you feeling? Like a loser, like the worst ever. I go, yeah,
Just imagining this conversation.
who would want to risk penetrating her if you're going to be made wrong again? Let's just not work.
Yeah.
Exactly, says the penis. I'm not going to risk it again. Or dry vaginas. I don't want him coming anywhere near me as long as I'm like the Sahara Desert. He will, I'll just say it's the body knows what's going on, and to honor it and listen, feel the held emotion,
Mm-hmm.
move it through. It doesn't just get rid of it because you can't get rid of energy. You can't can't create or destroy energy, right? You can only change it. So there's all this pain and shame and fear and low self-worth and insecurity. If you feel it, it integrates into something of a higher vibration. What have you found when your male clients feel the yucky? It doesn't just go away. Don't you find that they become more confident, more present,
Mm-hmm.
more courageous to speak their truth, more willing to take risks in the bedroom, more authentic, like more something?
Mm-hmm.
What have you
Mm-hmm.
found?
Oh, absolutely. And the negative, and I'm using air quotes here for those listening, the negative of that is more often than not, the guys reach this epiphany, major change within themselves,
Mm,
standing taller, more confident,
yeah,
literally getting more attention from others because their physicality has changed, their dressing,
yeah,
but everything about them says, I like myself more. And
yeah.
there's a lot of negative of that. Negative, again, air quotes, is that oh boy, I'm in a relationship that I probably shouldn't have been in the past 20, 30 years. Oh
Mm, mm,
man,
mm,
this is the mother to my children, and this is somebody I've
mm.
devoted so much brain energy to trying to fix, so to speak, year after year. And I finally realized, yeah, I made a big oopsie here. This isn't good. It's not so much her, it's me and her. It's just this isn't fixable. There's nothing here. A lot of guys get to that point. That's kind of sad. And then there's kind of this recursive, I don't know if it's the proper term or not, of all this work that I'm doing and becoming better can't be good because look what the result is, the disintegration of a relationship. So I'm going back to the old me. It was comfortable.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
the worst regression. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, they've tasted authenticity. They've tasted freedom.
It's
They've
scary.
tasted the
Hmm.
truth of their soul and their heart. And then that absolute having to create. I think it's so great because the kids know. The kids know a bullshit love. Like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
we love each other. No, you don't. You can feel it. And if
Hmm.
anything, you could honor and go, hey, I made a mistake. I'm not going to blame myself or your mother. We are now going to consciously uncouple, and still nothing has to do with you. And we're going to attempt to show you healthy love first with ourselves,
Mm.
and then as co-parents, and then maybe one day with another person where we choose from a different place. To me, that teaches the child humility, growth, evolution, self-ownership, conscious uncoupling, all the good things. What do you feel when they go back and they shrink again?
Oh, it's sad, but usually they come back again because usually what it is, it's no, I'm going to heck with you guys. You're all very pro divorce. It's like, we're not pro divorce. We're pro healthy
Truth.
individual.
Yeah.
The end result is you leaving a toxic relationship, which are often very abusive. Just when they put
Yeah.
it out there, you're like, this isn't good. You've been
Yeah.
mistreated for years and years.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need to get out of that. Well, this isn't what I want. I want tools to fix this. I'm out of here. Goodbye. They come back 6 months, year later, saying, "Okay, yeah, something happened. Now I can't deny. Caught her in bed with somebody else, or something like that." Like I'm back again. This time, ready to do it right, ready to work on
Okay.
myself. And often, it's you got to get that nonsense off the table in order for them to be able to breathe and to focus better and everything else. Unfortunately, that's I'm not going to say it's the majority of such cases, but my book, The Dead Bedroom Fix, and books like it usually end with this may very well end your relationship. And that's not
Mhm.
necessarily a condemnation of the book and the work because the work is just becoming a more secure individual, for goodness sakes. But you may need to step up and realize this relationship was founded on very shaky ground to begin with.
Right. And if she's not willing to do the work like you're willing to do the work, it needs to complete.
That's all there is to it. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
say. And when you're dealing with a very avoidant individual, this is not a
Yeah.
gendered thing. That's the last thing they want to do. They don't want to raise their hand and say, "You're right. I need a little help here. I'm chasing away good people, people that love me. This is wrong. I need to open myself up more." That's relatively rare. It's
Yeah.
when they get to that place, that's a beautiful thing and awesome, great. But I don't know what the percentage is, but it's small for that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. To me, it's absolutely devastating when you work so hard with somebody and they get right to the moment where they have the confidence to, uncouple with kindness
Mm.
and consciousness and show their kids maturity, spiritual maturity.
Well, there's also another aspect to this, which is what's over the fence is the unknown.
Well,
And
welcome to life. Like, is there any known? Really?
exactly, exactly. But a lot of men, by virtue of all this insecurity they have in themselves, even working and working on all of this, they still have that little boy inside of them saying, "This is as good as it gets, dude. You're going to leave this woman. You're going to be alone forever. So
That
don't
is
even
such
bother."
an ego lie. That is
Mm.
not what
Well,
their soul or their heart would tell
there's
them.
a lot of material out there that preys upon very insecure men that tells them this. All women are this and that and everything else. It's all very nihilistic. There's no hope in relationships anymore. Just give it up, dude.
Ah,
You have to be 7 feet tall and make $1 million or else woman won't even look at you again.
it's
All
all
that
bullshit,
nonsense.
but they're at choice of where they're going to fill themselves with lies or unconsciousness or truth and consciousness. Nobody's a victim. Yes, there's a lot of bullshit out there, and there's still a lot of great truth out there. It's still, to me, an excuse. And
Amen.
for me, and tell me where this comes into your work, and maybe not as much or maybe a lot.
Hmm.
I started out as like a life coach and then like a relationship coach. And then I realized, wait a second, you've had 2 divorces. You probably shouldn't be a relationship coach. Let's be an intimacy expert. Okay. I'm actually really fucking good at that.
Hmm.
Having a relationship with little you inside.
Hmm.
Now they might reject us, but I'll never reject you.
Hmm.
They might not see us, but I will always see you, little Allana. They
Hmm.
might not
Hmm.
ever understand why I blame you up one side and down the other. I will always honor your truth. This inner, unshakable, in like inner relationship, intimate relationship with yourself. It's almost like, well, kind of is. It's like being God, goddess, the
Hmm.
divine source to your little insecure one inside.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
got you. I
Yeah.
got you. And we will go through any shadow into the light. And when that relationship, and it's never perfect because there isn't such a thing as perfect, But when that is pretty solid, the unknown becomes, instead of the scary monster and believing all the bullshit, it becomes a mystery to dance with. Like, what you got today, universe? What miracle do you have for me? What incredible thing might happen? Instead of saying, what about all the bad things? You say, well, what about all the good things? And like, that's my group, that we call it the family of frequency. I'm just like nauseatingly positive and optimistic, because your energy, whatever you focus on, quantum physics is going to be what materializes. So take ownership of how you're thinking and feeling and who you're hanging out with and what you're doing. And for God's sake, set yourself free. But yeah, you can lead a horse to water.
It just had we just had a young man, 29 years of age, which is relatively young for our group, in our brotherhood meeting this morning,
Yeah.
who said, I'm 29
Yeah.
and I feel really down about myself because I've just left a job that was very toxic and I don't have any kind of career path. I don't have a wife. I don't have kids. I feel like I'm nothing right now compared to, when he goes to any kind of social function. What do you do for a living? Oh, here we go. So married, which one of these is your wife? None of them, and he feels like a loser. And I say, or blank slate, holy crap, the world is my oyster. Oh my
I was
goodness.
just going to say that. Exactly.
And here I am in a group of men who are all like my mentors to help guide me, hundreds of us from around the world. And what an opportunity you have. And the rest of us got on there to say, dude, if we had this when we were your age, oh my gosh. But all the mistakes we made along the way, you've been given a gift. So take advantage of it. You just got to believe that.
Yeah. Really reframing, but not just from the mind. Yes, from the mind, like look at it differently, but really feel in the heart the gratitude and like really embody it. Like a better attitude is great, but on a hard day, having a good attitude is hard. It's got to rest in your heart. It's got to rest in your gut. It's got to rest in your bones that life is for you and that even challenges are for you. And the end of a 20-year blah, 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 whatever marriage is not a failure. It's an example of growth and evolution and discovery and forgiveness and all these things. And if people around you disagree, don't hang out with them. Hang out with people in your group. Hang out with people in my group, because life is precious and short to waste it settling and not being who you are. What is your do you do like retreats? Do you like just do online court? Do you do privates? Like how into this have you gotten with your world? What does it look like?
The structure of the brotherhood, that's our private support community, men only, as the name implies.
Yep.
So we get together mainly online in the form of group meetings live on Zoom, a bunch of those every single week. We do one-on-one coaching as well. We have private forums that are active 24/7. Guys from around the world is getting on there. We utilize a private Facebook group as well as a Discord server. So whichever one you like, we have them. We do get together in person once a year as of now. We like to make that more frequent in the US, and then once a year in Australia.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So it's in addition to that, a lot of resources, a lot of audio. Men love audio for whatever reason. So we have like over 1,600 hours of audio. All the meetings are recorded and all my books are available at no extra charge for our guys in audio format, as well as download if they want that. And then the one-on-one coaching with myself. And we have guys on the team. So we have a lot of different avenues, courses as well for guys that want
good.
Yeah, a lot of stuff for getting better and doing better. And it's something you got to continuously do. And, we're very fairly priced. There's a lot of things out there that a lot of guys are paying out the wazoo for, but they like that ours is well priced. And just for the entry fee, you get like almost everything. So it really speaks to a lot of men who are, I'm in this marriage and it ain't going well. I'm going through a divorce and this is really tough. I'm on the other side of divorce, and this whole rebuilding process is just very intimidating and hard. And it's just I don't know where to go. And then they recognize, probably watching a lot of my material online. I put out a lot of videos and so forth of, that's the missing thing. I don't have a mentor group, a friend group. You know how many guys don't have friends? They literally don't have friends. They go to work, they take care of their kids, they go to bed, and they do it again and again and again. Women are way better at the social thing than what men are. Got my coffee date with so-and-so, the wine date with that. We just don't do that for whatever reason. A therapist clued me in on that years ago, like 14 years ago when I went through all this. So that's why I created the Brotherhood.
So good. So good. And I like that the first thing we started talking about was feeling the feels. Because another reason I think men don't have a lot of friends is that it hasn't culturally, socially been a place where you can say, how you doing? Fine. My what is it? The grandpa, father just died. I'm fine. No, you're not. you're not actually fine. And to be in a container where it's safe to feel, honored to feel, feelings aren't bad, feelings are human, feelings are normal. And they understand, as you said, that big dial, they're going to have a lot more joy
Yeah.
if they can actually feel through the sorrow. The
It's the
sorrow.
big, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, Cahill Gibran. I'm going to kind of butcher it, but something about the deeper you carve the well of sorrow, the more joy you can pour into
Oh, I
it.
like it. Yeah,
Is
I've
it?
not heard that. Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say with our group, it's the fact that you're there with the express purpose of talking about all this sensitive stuff. That just right away smooths things over because, think about your typical male get together, which is in this day and age, I'm at my son's football game, I'm standing around with other dads, and what are we going to talk about? So, how's work going? Good. Did I see the other day you got a promotion? Yes, I did. Oh, congrats, congrats. How old's your kid now? 14. Yeah. Well, getting big. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it. That's so.
So
My,
surface.
my wife hasn't touched me in 18 months. Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Mine either.
Okay. Yeah. So
No.
this really came to light when I endured what I did and the infidelity and divorce and everything else. And I remember telling my closest friends, and the reaction was the wide-eyed, "Oh shit, dude. Wow. I really don't know what to say." And I had one friend, Chris, who told me he literally Googled what to say to your friend when he says this and this because he was just totally, he didn't have the tools in his toolbox to deal with it or how to, he didn't want to say the wrong thing. That's
Yeah.
typical guy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of similar to like when somebody dies, what do you say? But the same idea is that it hasn't been prioritized to communicate in a way that, builds connection, intimacy, vulnerability, honesty, all that kind of stuff. It's not a course in school. So I'm really glad that we both have created these worlds to make it safe to talk about these things,
Mm-hmm.
feel, and give people new points of view, insights. I love the work with psychedelics because I'm a Ivy League grad. I'm a super smart girl, but couldn't integrate the traumas that were still running my body.
Mm.
The patterns, the habits. I'd have a great attitude, but then I'd sabotage myself, and it wasn't for lack of understanding or wisdom or intelligence. It was that another subconscious wound was running the show. Very humbling,
Mm.
but very liberating once I got it integrated. And there's a congruence now between the mind, the heart, the gut. It's like, okay, I'm sane again. So beautiful.
I love it.
I want to ask about the what, how does one fix the dead bedroom? Like what are your three steps? Because
Well,
I'm just trying to
yeah.
imagine, because I've been married twice, and if the rupture isn't repaired, and if I don't feel safe, my body won't open. And then I just close my heart, go up into my head, and then I'm a bitch.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I'll admit it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just the pattern. I now obviously have a lot more skills to be very different. But when I was 20 in my first marriage, that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think a lot of us men, sticking to the perspective of the men, are running on an erroneous game plan, which is in our defense, rooted in what worked during the honeymoon phase of our relationship,
Okay.
which is very often, when I think back on it, all I did was walk into the front door and I had flip flops and a stained t shirt on. And we were going at it like crazy.
And I
And
stunk. I didn't even shave and like whatever. It
But
doesn't
we
even
were madly
matter.
in love. We were
Yeah,
young, madly in love, and it was easy. So this must
totally.
mean it was meant to be. If it was this
Sure,
easy,
sure.
this level of intimacy and eroticism
Correct.
and everything else that goes with it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you get married, and you notice it goes from here to here, and
Right.
then the cohabitation after year, and then you have kids, and just falls off the table,
Totally.
and you have what I call wife 2.0.
Yeah.
That's not a slam on the wife. It's just a natural progression of life. It's not
Yes.
only it's the biological changes she's going through, especially as we're getting closer to perimenopause and everything else. It's the stress of the kids and
She's in her masculine. Being a mother is actually masculine.
yeah, that's one way of looking at it. And what the men that I speak to though, in their defense again, very anxiously attached men, so they've taken in this messaging of maybe if you did more chores, and the guys are like, got it, wife, sit on the couch, I'll do it all. I mean, they get that far into this. What if maybe if you took care of the kids more? Best dads in the world. They're getting up in the middle of the night, changing the diapers. They're coaching every team. They're doing all of that. Yet we still have this epidemic. I don't know if you want to call it that, the dead bedroom
Mm.
thing. I mean, all I got to do is make one post on a Facebook or YouTube or whatever it is, and boom, thousands and thousands of men going, me too. So there's something inherently, let's just put it out there, very unsexy about long term monogamy. on its surface, just on the baseline. It takes work to maintain the sexy and the erotic and that level of connection. And that's where a lot of guys just flat out don't have a clue. And some of it is pretty superficial. Some of it's take care of yourself. No one wants to be with a slob who doesn't know how to dress themselves. Well, it worked before. It doesn't work now. The game has changed. It's relationships on hard mode now. You got three little kids. You're both getting older. Her mom just passed away. Your dad has dementia. It's this. All these things work against you.
Yeah.
Now, what a lot of guys come back with is, yeah, but as soon as we divorce, I'm going to watch her. She's going to be back on the market. She's going to be a new human being again. It's like, yeah, that's what happens. Both of you. Mother Nature takes over and it's like back on the market and you become more youthful, more sexy, more vibrant, all that stuff goes with it. So what can we do to maybe take some of what we're learning from that honeymoon phase stuff and incorporate it into the long-term monogamy game? That's really seems to be the solution to it all. It doesn't mean just flip a switch and everything's fixed, but take a little bit of here, a little bit there. And every situation is different. They all have their own little thing. I can't tell you how many men are, we haven't touched each other in the last 6 years and blah, blah. Well, can you point to something specific that happened 6 years ago? Well, she did have a double mastectomy from breast cancer and everything. I was like, okay, dude. Hello. And she had the hormonal therapy that went along with it. And basically estrogens that nothing is, that's it. You've just identified. That's a pretty big life thing that gets in the way of intimacy between people. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
So that's your cross to bear and something you got to work through and get healthier and
Together.
Patience, 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 patience. And yeah, ladies need to do a little bit more work in terms of, you and I just spoke about the importance of vulnerability.
Yeah.
Countless men have tried and their wife says, I don't like that. I like a stronger, tougher guy. I like a guy who's more stoic. As soon as you get a little weepy, I don't know how to deal with this. I don't like men when they do that. That's not good, ladies. We need to work on that. If you want men to soften up, you need to be there when they do so. You don't get the ick and you don't tell them to, I don't like this, because some of those things I've noticed over the years, the number one thing that gets a woman to go, oh, now I hate you, is to say, yeah, something's wrong with me. And I'll tell you what it is. I feel like I've been forgotten ever since we had kids. You and I used to be partners in crime. We used to be dates and love each other and pat each other on the butt and and giving kisses in the morning. And now you don't even notice me anymore. And the women get irate at that. Oh, you big baby, you shouldn't be that way. And
Well, let me stop you there for a second. So if he just stops at that and doesn't say, I miss you, I'm lonely, it hurts my heart. If he just accuses her, then she's just going to get defensive. And that would be either direction, right? I find when people have the courage to tell the truth, but they do it sort of accusationally and projection, and it's all their fault, and they never are actually vulnerable. True vulnerability is opening your heart and expressing a feeling on the inside, right? Which I miss you. I'm scared you're not attracted to me anymore.
Yeah,
I'm afraid. Right. That is very different than you're putting the kids first. Which is blamey. You know what I mean?
In their defense, a lot of men try a lot of the softer stuff to begin with. Again, very anxiously attached men with very emotionally distant women. And so to come to them with the ultimate of, I feel forgotten here. And a lot of women are like, yeah, obviously the kid comes number one. It's a new little human, for goodness sakes. Even though the kid may be 8 or 9 years old at this time, still they come first because we got to take care of them, blah, blah, blah. Who are you, you little baby? And all this other. So the man takes all that and says, never opening it up again. So there needs to be some kind of healthy middle ground of the woman going, I hear you. I understand where you're coming from. That's not my intent, but hear me out, mister. This is where I'm coming from with all this. Often it's just, no, you don't bring that level of vulnerability to us. We don't like that. So
Well, it's like wound meets wound. So if she doesn't have her own back and she doesn't know how to sit in her own fire and keep her heart open to herself and to him when he brings this information, she's going to shut her heart down and emasculate him, right? And if he needs her to be a certain way because he's so anxious and she's not the way he wants her to be in order for him to keep his heart open, then he shuts his heart down. And now we've got two shut hearts. It's the same wound. It's just like the same coin, but two sides, opposite sides of the same coin. So they both, back to intimacy, which was what I do, they both need to be able to have their own little you on the inside, be able to sit in the fire, keep their heart open when they receive news, information, emotions, experiences that they feel uncomfortable with. right? And if you can be with your own internal discomfort, you can be with the discomfort of your partner. If you can listen to yourself and stay with yourself when you're scared, mad, ashamed, anxious, all the things, then you can be with your partner when they're doing these kind of things. So it definitely takes two, and I can see it from both sides, which is why I really love it when a couple will come and go, I love blaming them for everything, and I'm definitely right about it, but it's not getting us anywhere. So fine, I'll take ownership of my stuff. They'll take ownership of their stuff. And then there's this compassion that begins to happen. Respect first, because each of them are taking ownership, but then compassion. Wow, we both have the same wound. And that's why we were attracted to each other. What if we both healed our own internal wounds? And then we could look at each other and go, wow, I couldn't have got here without you. Thank you. But that takes two. And very rarely in my experience, and I'm wondering about yours, are both partners willing to grow? Yeah.
Very rare.
Very rare. Why do you think that is?
I think it's just because the relationship at its baseline was born out of dysfunction. And when you got two dysfunctional people, the chances are just minimal that both at the same time go,
Yeah.
It may be that they both need to leave this relationship and go their own way. And then on their own, wow, I'm a much healthier person and my relationships are much more secure down the line. And they both look at each other and go, good for you. Yeah, good for you too. That happens more often than not.
Yeah. Somebody I recently dated, we're not dating anymore, but at some point the emotional unavailability, I guess we'll call it, the topic was brought up. And bless him, he was like, you're not the first woman to tell me this. And because I'm hopefully skilled at this, and I just said, and it makes me feel scared and lonely. Like kind of like I'm dropped off a cliff. If I open up and you can't be with it, I kind of feel like I'm falling into the abyss. And it would make me so happy if, even if you're uncomfortable, you could even say, gosh, you're making me uncomfortable right now. Come here. Let me give you a hug. Like, you can be human and practice, but at least let's move in the direction of what would work more.
It's taking flipping the genders, the example of the man saying, I feel forgotten after we had kids, that really rubs the woman the wrong way. The version of that for the man would be something like, when you got demoted or when you lost your job and you had a hard time finding a job and you were sitting around for a long period of time and not getting anywhere, I lost a great deal of respect for you around that time. I got to be honest with you. And that really dinged my vision of you, and as a good father and as a good person I could count on. I lost a lot of respect for you at that time. That hurts to hear, but I'm glad to hear it. That answers a lot of questions I had. Like, how much of that was an impact? Obviously it was a big impact. So that's the kind of stuff you have to be able to deal with.
And then if I was coaching the woman and he's sitting on the couch, if you're going to judge him, it's going to make it worse. If you close your heart, it's going to make it worse. If you disrespect him, it's going to make it worse. Why don't you open your heart, your vagina, your soul, and just go, I love you so fucking much.
I believe
Get out there and get a job and give your gifts and then come home and fuck me to God. Right? Like, be this ferocious, erotic, kind of crazy, but at least authentic, rather than judgmental, closing down, etc. There's so many ways that we can be messy and move through these moments and stay real, but stay connected to each other and grow together. I've never met, maybe this is weird, but I don't think I've ever met a relationship that was perfect. And then they got together and they were perfect and there were no wounds. And then they had a perfect relationship and then they died perfect. Everybody meets because of an incomplete wound. Imago theory, like, is how it works, right? So the fact that the foundation was faulty, every relationship's foundation is faulty, because I think we come to grow. I think that's the point. I don't think we're here to be perfect and then die perfect and that was a perfect ride. Like, what's the point of that?
And talking about the imago theory, something that a lot of men are very averse to admitting is, I have some dysfunction in my past as a child, and that has formed why I'm here, why I'm attracted to these types of people, and so forth. They're just like, yeah, it's a bunch of nonsense. Like, no,
It's not nonsense.
That's everything.
I can own my crazy bitch shit. I can, yeah. And I think it's so freeing. It's so respect building when you can own your stuff and not blame the other.
Ultimate ownership.
Totally apologize and don't say but after it. I'm sorry. That's it. End of story. How can I make up for the damage done? Like, like, they're not only going to apologize without justification, they're going to grow and evolve. Like, to me, if you've got a partner we're staying with, that's going to inspire them to do the same. But when people apologize and then they give all these justifications and buts, that's not an apology. And when they don't change their behavior, they just keep saying sorry for the same thing and they never change. Like, come on.
Hmm.
That doesn't work either.
There was a celebrity. This was years ago. What was it? Jesse James was the name of this celebrity. He was the guy who did back in like the early 2000s on TV. You would always see people making custom motorcycles and cars on Discovery Channel and stuff. It was really big back
Okay.
then. He was one of the big names, and he
Okay.
happened to be dating Sandra Bullock, the actress. And then he famously, they had really, they seemed like a real two peas in a pod.
Yeah.
She was very wholesome. He was the Mr. Tattoos all over the place kind of gangster looking guy. And then he
Uh-huh.
cheats on her with a porn star
Guy.
of all things.
Ouch.
And he did an interview after the fact, and the interview was basically like, "Dude, what the hell?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he just looked at her and said, "You know why I did it? Because I'm a broken little boy. Because I'm just stupid, and she's a good woman, and she didn't deserve that at all. But I got problems, and I need to work on it." And everyone just dumped all over this man, like, "Here he goes making excuses." I'm like, "No, dude, that was
Well, if
very vulnerable and open."
that's ownership. And then if he actually does the work, like,
Whether he
wow.
did or not, it's a whole other story. Yeah, yeah,
Well, true, right? But wow. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a broken person. What I did was wrong.
All of us are broken on some level. Do you know one human who hasn't had their heart broken? I don't. Never. So we're all broken on some level. So
Mm-hmm.
I love that we started this interview by that feelings, the quote unquote yucky feelings aren't bad or wrong. And when you feel them, you become more whole, more relatable, more able to connect with, more
Mm-hmm.
able to trust and respect around your brotherhood and around your partnership. I love that. I love that you're creating places for men to have friendship, honesty, sensitivity, and welcome all of that. I love that you're making the bedroom not so dead. This is very important because I really do believe from the honeymoon phase, yeah, it's just hot and hormonal. And then, yeah, there is the dud sort of phase in the middle. But when you come back together again and you've done your work and you've owned it and you've appreciated your partner, and then it can become more heart centered, more sacred, more energetic, more spiritual. It really goes from sex to lovemaking.
Mm-hmm.
And that has longevity. That has longevity because it's in the present moment. And you look at your partner fresh with gratitude. And then when they drive you up the wall, you can have a little humor. And then
Mm-hmm.
you have the courage to have those conversations that need to be had, those tough conversations, and you repair the ruptures, like those kind of relationships. That's what I'm up for. And I won't say failed twice. I've grown a hell of a lot twice.
There you go.
Yeah, I've grown a hell of a lot twice, and I am ready for my man. So congratulations to you and Natalie. Yeah, Natalie, is that
Thank you.
right?
You
Did I
got
remember
it.
that
Very
right?
good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Blessings to the both of you. Okay, super cool. Helpformen.com. You want to get the book, The Dead Bedroom Fix, and also see the other 4 titles or 5 titles? The other
5
four,
titles total. So yeah.
other 4 titles. I'm sure you've got other ones as well. All the different ways to join the community. How would you like to complete this conversation? Maybe something you want to say to the men, something you
Mm-hmm.
want to say to the women, something you want to just say to humans. What do you want to? How would you like to complete
To
this?
the men out there, there is a lot of material and narrative out there saying basically the best course of action is to be a lone wolf. And it's to go at it alone. I mean, heck, look at all the YouTubes and podcasts and books and everything. If you don't need anybody, you especially don't need women. You especially don't need friends. And it's a very weak take. Everyone's just going to hurt you anyway. That's a very predominant theme out there on the internet amongst male-oriented material. And I say it's bullshit.
Thank you. Total bullshit.
It is okay to raise your hand and say, I need a little help here.
Yeah.
And if you want to look at it from a very pragmatic, ultra male kind of point of view, literally every single successful man that I have ever known in my life,
Yeah.
that's a very
Yeah.
subjective term, belongs to networking groups, mentor groups, whatever it's business or some kind of special interest or whatever, because they realized years ago, can't do this alone. I can expedite the process of getting better by saying, hey, what'd you do here in this particular situation? Where'd you spend your money? Where'd you put your time and energy? And the guys will say, hey, whatever you do, don't do this instead. Got it.
Yeah.
Done. And they all help each other out. All these millionaires and billionaires all hang out with each other for a reason. They're all learning from each other. Take
Yeah.
that same kind of mentality and apply it to getting better, relationship world, getting through your divorce, trying to improve your marriage. Get with guys who have been there and done that, guys that are going through it. Makes perfect sense. So guys, just raise your hand, say help. You'd be amazed at how many people jump to attention. There's so many guys, really good men that are just waiting for somebody to say help.
Yeah. What I really love, Ralph, about what you're saying is if you say the anxious or the codependent or the predominant sort of group that you were and you attract, that kind of person isn't kind to themselves, doesn't actually have high regard to themselves. So they're judging themselves for asking for help. So just the act of saying yes for help is an act of self-love. It will raise your confidence. It will raise your worth, your deservability, your ability to connect with yourself and others. Just saying yes changes the tides. In like a ship, if you just change it one little degree, the ship ends up in another continent eventually, right? So that one act can literally change the trajectory of your life. I so agree. I so friggin' agree. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So helpformen.com, the amazing Ralph Brewer, his 5 books, Walking His Talk with His Life. And then I'll end with, please, when you're done this interview, please don't just go off and do something else, at least just for 5 minutes. If it's not terribly hot or terribly cold and you can put your feet on the earth, just go stand and feel. Yes, you've heard a lot of information, but what has it made you feel? What niggling gut, as we were talking about earlier, or your heart? What's a truth in your body that actually slow down and listen that this interview inspired for you to actually address? Is there something you got to forgive yourself? Do you have to address your shame? Is it time to get a handle on your fear or self-hatred? Is it time to stop blaming others or yourself? Like, listen to what's brewing and then take an action in alignment with that. And then lastly, a lot of times I attract very intelligent people who do all the right things because they're so super smart, but there's still this underlying subconscious patterning that keeps sabotaging them. If that is the case, I am someone who has a boutique business where we do psychedelic somatic integration work one-on-one, where we get out of the head. I'm smart, didn't do shit. There's a wound inside from when we were little girls and boys that if you don't address it, will stay hypervigilant and actually push away, repel the love, intimacy, and connection that you so deeply desire. And there are ways, proven ways, legal ways, MAPS, 10,000 hours of MAPS trials ways that work for people to heal PTSD in this world with the reverent use of plant medicine, which is my passion. So if you're interested in that, in the show notes, there's a way to connect with me. So go in the show notes and look for all of Ralph's books and helpformen.com and all of his platforms, and connect with me if that deeper inner work with someone who can be like the divine mother. Maybe mom wasn't so hot. I know she did her best, but sometimes this rewiring can change your trajectory so that when you go out in the world and connect with women, you know what it's like to be honored with respect and feel home in your body. Yeah. Thank you,
Very
Ralph.
good. I
You're
love
amazing.
it. Thank you so much. You're
so amazing. All the best to your wife, your family, and all of those hundreds of thousands of men that adore you. All right. Thanks again for being on Intimate Conversation. See you next week on Intimate Conversations. Get out there and make love to life. I love what Ralph shared and his empowerment with men, where just being nice means you've earned sex, or I'm a nice guy, so now I get sex, right? Like this, it's kind of like a manipulation. I love that he's really calling that out, and instead having empowering a man's confidence to come from the inside out, not needing validation, truly knowing who he is, this confidence and independence. I love that too. And an independent, this is just me, an independent man who doesn't need me, independent in and of itself is his silo, my silo. How are we gonna have sex? Definitely I respect him more because he's independent and confident and not seeking my approval in order to be good enough or get sex. That would definitely be a turnoff. But I'm also not drawn. I'm also not drawn to him because he's independent. What is it going to take for interdependence? This is my question. And can we evolve from independent, maybe even just to consciousness itself, pure conscious. The masculine, I'm going to call it the masculine energy of consciousness itself doesn't need anything, yet is completely connected in presence. So there's that connection without needing everything. That's hot. That's super hot, because that is the spaciousness for me to be anything I want to be, express authentically whatever flavor's coming through, and he doesn't need anything from me to be all that he is, consciousness itself. And so there's no manipulations going on. There's no little dance of like, well, if I do this, then I'll get that. Nobody's manipulating anybody. Healthy. And then there's the safety that I also don't need to change for him to be okay. So I can be all these different emotions and he's not going anywhere. Safety. Exploding, I don't know, but like this set, like I'm a flower, like opening up all my petals. When everything I be, you're not going anywhere. And of course that needs to be honoring everything. That doesn't mean trauma dumping. That doesn't mean hitting below the belt. That doesn't mean that kind of expression. When I say authentic, I mean loving expression. It can be fierce love, but not contracted, blaming, not that. That's unworkable as well. So I feel I would maybe we'll have to do a part 2, or maybe it's just why there's tons of different people out there, each with their niche of the peace that they provide to where each of us are on our journey until we're ready for what's next. I'm personally curious about what is it that allows for a man to be whole, I guess we could say whole, confidence in his unique gifts, certain with his direction, present in the face of anything, consciousness open-hearted in the face of anything. That way of being isn't in a silo, it's open to me, and it's quite attractive. And I think it brings out the best in me. It also brings up all my of like, will I get rejected? But that's my stuff. That's my stuff to work through. That's my stuff to own and work through. I think it dissolves manipulation and allows for authentic relating, which I just love. So thank you, Ralph, so much for being on our podcast, sharing how you help men and your book about the dead bedroom, and how you really help get men back on their feet again in this wonderful, safe container of good men. This is so needed. So needed. It's so much more politically correct, I suppose, or, women have their groups, but men need support just as much. We all need support. So thank you for what you provide. Please follow him. Please get his book. Please explore his coaching programs. If his message resonates with you, and that's exactly where you are in your journey, you're not alone. You've got a great community. And if this conversation is like, I got that part, and I'm really ready for this next part that I was alluding to of how do I then be interdependent? How do I be just as confident but stay connected? This is, to me, intimacy with self, intimacy with other, intimacy with the divine, literally in us and through us. This, to me, this is my edge. This is what I teach. This is my edge. And I believe what's in the way of that is a deeper level of integration of trauma so that we can be this present. So that when the other behaves in a certain way, we don't close or blame or run. We can stay open, lean in, be authentic, and deepen intimacy. Is there anything, well, there's probably a lot of things better, but anyways, one of the things I think is so amazing is when you repair a rupture and you're like, holy crap, we got to the other side and we're closer. There's more trust, more respect, more liberation, more full self-expression. It's like a renewal of, it's like another honeymoon phase and then another honeymoon phase, but with so much wisdom along the way, not the naivete of the beginning hormonal honeymoon phase. That incredible connection that happens and grows over time because you're literally in the dance of the mystery with another. Yeah. Thank you so much for being with us here on Intimate Conversations. Go to the Intimate World. Be a part of our community where we talk about this every other week, and I provide support and a safe place for listening. Allana Pratt, patreon.com/Allana Pratt. That's where you join the Intimate World. My book, Finding the One. I have 6 books. Finding the One book.com. We've relaunched it with so many more bonuses and all these goodies for you to really have a deeper experience as you go through that book, which is kind of like a little mini workshop. I know on the other side of that you will feel more liberated, more authentic, and more grateful for being alive. And lastly, if I can connect with you personally, I would love it. In the show notes is an intimacy breakthrough experience call with me with a scholarship for being a viewer or listener of Intimate Conversations here in season 14. I love you with all my heart. Thank you to Ralph, and thank you to all my guests who have blessed us with your wisdom and brilliance. All my love.